Well, welcome here to the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of Manhattan, one of New York's most iconic venues, just in time for the start of the championship game on the women's PPL II Miami Padel Club against Toronto Polo Bears. Two teams that finished top of their standings. Miami, brilliant in that mini round robin group stage, winning both matches, not dropping a set, winning 86% of the games played. Toronto not far behind them, also a clean sweep, winning both of their games with 71% of games. You've got Brittany Dobbins and Marta Morga pairing up for Miami. Toronto Polo Bears lead with Jordi Lujan and Carla Rodriguez. First game to Toronto Polo Bears. Now, if you've been watching the PPL II on Thursday, Friday and Saturday, you would have seen we were playing at Padel House in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, one of three venues they have here in New York. Well, for the championship, for Podium Day, we've moved to the heart of Manhattan, the Hammerstein Ballroom, built in 1906, one of the most iconic venues of the Big Apple. It hosts a range of events, and last season we saw here the Cities Cup Finals, the season finale of the PPL season. So here for the first event of the year, we're starting where last season ended, and we're ending where last season started. That will be in Miami, the 3rd to the 6th of December. As Marta sends over that smash, but not enough power. You saw it hit the glass, travel forward, but not far enough. And in the end, if you don't clear the back wall or hit an outright winner, those smashes come up short. You can be made to pay R15. Now the Toronto Polo Bears on their way to the final. They beat Las Vegas Smash 6-3, 6-2, Ana Cordiles and Luis Elena Perez, and then defeated DC Matrix, the pairing of Shannon Hudson, Olga Petrauskate. Really good performance by the team out from Canada. As for Miami, DC Matrix and Houston Volts, the two teams they beat. Vanessa Martinez and Sofia Adamovich played well. Scoreline probably not quite a fair reflection on what we saw in that 6-love, 6-1 win for Miami, but Miami have been the best team, and they are probably the favourites coming into this final. But there again, that's a shot you need to do, the outright winner. So if you're tuning in for the first time, this is Championship Day. Now, we're going to get Miami Padel Club, Toronto Polo Bears, women's doubles, PPL II, followed by the men's doubles, San Diego Stingrays, New York Atlantics. The pairing of Danny Diaz, Ivo and Matin against Jose Carlos Gaspar and Jaime Fermosel. Those are the matches here, and then no earlier than midday, local time in New York. It's just past 8:15 in the morning, so bright and early here in the Big Apple. It will be the turn of the PPL. You've got Podium Day, with the third place face-off, Toronto Polo Bears, Los Angeles beat, followed by the Toronto Polo Bears, New York Atlantics men's. Then the championship games for the women's, San Diego Stingrays, Florida Goats, and the men's doubles final, DC Matrix, Houston Volts. 2-love in this opening set, and they were behind once in their two matches, the pairing of Marta and their Brittany Dobbins. They trailed to DC Matrix in the second set. They'd won the first set convincingly, 2-1. That was the only time they were behind in a set. And here they find themselves a break down against Toronto. Jordi with that double-handed backhand, and it goes long, and surprised by the start, Miami. I mean, they are the favourites sometimes. That's a bit of added pressure. Tuck up against the wall. Brittany sends over the lob, not deep enough. How to defend here, Miami. And again, they go long. 30 love. Three Americans out on court for this final. Carla Rodriguez, the player serving for Toronto, and two players in those pink jerseys for Miami, Brittany and Marta. Allows that to pass. Uri Luján from Argentina, the veteran out on court, 35 years old. Now, if you have been watching days 1, 2 and 3, you would have seen lots of great paddle in this PPL II event in what is its inaugural season. Back in February, it was announced that there will be a new competition parallel to the PPL with the same 10 pro teams from North America, Canada, Mexico and US taking part. And the aim is to develop players, offer competition, and hopefully see these players improve in the world rankings and improve the level of the game here this side of the Atlantic. And so far, this tournament has not disappointed. We've seen some great games. We've seen some superb super tie breaks. In fact, in the championship men's doubles following this match, San Diego Stingrays won both of their games in a super tie break. Here serving for a 3-love lead in this opening set. You will be hopefully heading to a court straight after watching this. If you've not played Padel before, do give it a go. It's fun. It's accessible to all levels. That's a good deep lob. One of those just dies in the corner. Got to be careful with how you use the pace here, because of course you've got to utilize the walls at the back for retrieval and strategy. Sometimes it's best just let the ball pass you, which is difficult if you come from a sport like tennis, another racket sport, because obviously you lose the point. But here you have the benefit of the ball coming back, and sometimes you can turn what is a defensive shot into an attacking shot. Still a game point, and they take it superbly. Well angled volley to the side of Brittany Dobbins, and a flying start for the Toronto Polo Bears. Geordie just takes the power out of the volley. It's well positioned, and you can see any faster that volley, and Britain would have left it for her doubles partner. It would have carried through, it would have bounced up at a certain height, probably the right height, for Marta Morga then to attack the net, and also Brittany would have followed. So the fact that that ball just hit the glass with a bit of slice, you see that ball dip. The slice of all the spins is probably the best spin to use. Now, a top spin here, I mean, if it hits the back glass, it will come out high. Maybe not the best option, but on a smash, an overhead top spin smash with the right kick could be a point winner. If it hits the back glass, it can sail high into the air and back over into your side of the court. So during the commentary, I'll be bringing you updates, of course, of what's happening here. Also preparing for the PPL event later today, where Brian Finley and Germán Klaus will be providing English commentary alongside Pete Consuegra and Javier Carrasco. If you want to watch it in Spanish, you can watch those 4 games from the PPL. And also, I know there are a lot of people maybe tuning in for the first time who have never seen paddle before, perhaps, or have seen it a couple of times, or you've come from another racket sport, be it pickleball or squash, even table tennis. I mean, the idea is you serve cross court. Point system is the same as tennis. 15, 30, 14, you get to a deuce, which is in fact a golden point. You don't really have a deuce and advantage. It just makes it a bit more dynamic, a bit more drama added to each game. and goes long. Love. Now, a lot of the shots you will see in Padel go down the middle. And if you're looking at percentages, I mean, it does depend on if you're playing two attacking players, if you're spending much time at the net. But in general, you can see as many as 30%, sometimes a bit higher, of shots being lost. It's a key shot that can turn defense into attack as you look to gain the net, because if you control the net, you will probably win more points. Now that is actually a stat. I mean, the team that holds the net win more points. Lovely ball, little cross court looking for the cage. More on the that mesh fence later, and how unpredictable it is. Here looking for a love service game, which would help a bit of confidence after that slow start by Miami Padel Club. 40-15. Marta with the serve, races forward, good backhand slice down the middle. Try and get those volleys behind the service line, always dipping if possible. Look, shot down the middle, but allows it to bounce and come back there, Brittany. Marta steps across the cover, nice return again, looking down that middle zone, that corridor of certainty, and the ball into the net, and they're finally off the mark. Miami Padel Club 3-1. Toronto Polar Bears lead, and they do have a break, so it's been a good start to the game. All they need to focus on now really is winning their service games. Now, here we've got two options when you serve. You can have the normal serving option. In tennis, some say it's the Australian, and in Padel they call it the I formation, where you stand on the side you normally play on. So you would have two players standing on the same side of the court. So you serve, and then straight away you're in your position. Now, you will not see it on this serve, because already you've got the Toronto Polar Bears player, Geordie, on the backhand side, which is her favoured side. But now you will see Geordie serving, and in front of Geordie Lujan, Carla Rodriguez will be standing, both more or less on the same side of the court. So you've got to be quick to cover that shot down the line. So now they've switched back into position. Forces Marta back. Carla with a great view that takes a flat smash on. And they slow cook the point. Doesn't get enough on that smash on this occasion. Lujan recovered by Brittany. Marta chips it forward. Still on the back foot. Miami Padel Club trying to hang into this point. Watches it well. Very tough when it hits the corner there where the two glass walls join. That's a good lob, and they switch back into position. Brittany couldn't wait to get across to her side, and they defended really well. And in the end, going long, Geordie Lujan, the Argentine. Number 4 in the US, Marta Morga. Brittany Dobbins at the top of the pile, ranked number 1. Very good partnership here for Miami. Just lost track. That's quite difficult. So you've got the glass walls at the back and along the side. Then you've got a mesh. Now, that's always going to be unpredictable. It can sometimes drop like a dead weight. It can kick up into the air. It can come back at a right angle. I mean, it's a bit of a lottery. On that occasion, it just seemed to pick up a bit of spin, a bit of pace. And Brittany just losing track, fly to the ball. Serving for a 4-1 lead. Still, game point for Toronto Polar Bears. Good serve that. Again, looking for the mesh. Takes it early on the rise. Brittany standing quite far forward because they want to try and get to the net, and there they do. Dart forward. Well, straight away, was standing too deep, perhaps, Carla Rodriguez, and as her racket went back, you could hear the contact against the glass wall, so couldn't really do the whole shot back and finish over the shoulder. So in the end, that lob was short. They lost the point, and we have a golden point, a chance to break back for Miami. Well, that's a tough one for Marta. That was really well played. So much spin on that. And in the end, at the third attempt, they take their service game. They consolidate their earlier break, and it's 4-1 to the Toronto Polar Bears. So today we're watching the PPL II at the main venue, the Hammerstein Ballroom, here in the heart of Manhattan, where later on we'll have the men's doubles from the PPL II, San Diego Stingrays, New York Atlantics, followed by 4 games from the PPL. Third place, men's and women's, and then the championship matches. So a lot to look forward to today here in New York. And apart from playing at this venue, which is quite incredible, it's spectacular. I mean, if you ever get the chance to visit New York, you have to come here. I mean, it hosts anything and everything, and has done for over a century, including Padel, which we saw, like I said, last year here, the Cities Cup Finals 2025. Well, the players here who win this and pick up points could basically take a big step towards qualifying for the season finale, because this year the Cities Cup Finals 2026 will be held in Miami. The dates, if you've got a pen, I still use a pen. If not, just quickly type it onto your phone. 3rd to the 6th. 3rd to the 6th of December. The Cities Cup Finals in the great city of Miami. And what we are going to see this year are players from the PPL II competing. More on that in the next changeover. Marta and Brittany at net. One break down. No safety net. Can't really afford to be broken again in this opening set. High lob. It's a high roof here. Very high ceiling indeed. So there's no risk of that ball hitting anything up high. Great drop shot. Tough shot to mastermind. You've got to get right under the ball. And if you can, hit it with a bit of backspin. Now, if you've been listening to the commentary these last few days, starting on Thursday, you would hear quite a few words in Spanish. Now, that's because this sport originated in Mexico, Acapulco. It was 1969. Enrique Corcuera, a businessman from Mexico, created a court, basically, in his backyard. Couldn't fit a tennis court, so went for a paddle court because of the walls, etc., and to keep the ball in play. And then from there, it's gone global. I know it's not been in the US for many years, but just look how it's booming in the UK, for example, in Scandinavia. I'm sure here will also be played by many people because there are courts popping up across the US. Now, Paddle House have those 3 venues in New York, plus Denver, Nashville, Atlanta. So get online and look to see where your nearest court is. It's not an expensive sport to play, and you will instantly fall in love with it because it's so accessible, regardless of your standard. While I'm talking, we just have the longest point of the opening set. Oh, quick pep talk, a mini timeout, 15-all. Marta has to track back. Again, looking for Marta. They are trying to keep Brittany out of the point, if possible. And it's worked so far in this opening set. Marta. Took a step forward, Brittany. Really important, was about a racket and a half length away from the net. You know, anticipated well. Saw her opponent taking that racket back. Body aiming for cross court, and took a step forward to be over the volley and slice it down the line and hit the winner. Anticipation is so important, as is communication when you're playing with a doubles partner, because a lot of the times you're not actually facing your opponents. You're running back, chasing a lob, or stuck in a corner, and you need your partner to shout out, they're at the net, they're at the back, they're split. Big point indeed for Miami Padel Club. And whips that forehand straight into the net. Still, one break to the good. Toronto Polo Bears. So how long until we see players from North America at the top? Already there are players in the top 100, which is pretty incredible if you think the game hasn't been in the US, Canada or Mexico for that long, because although it did start in Mexico, it kind of disappeared, and from Mexico it went to Spain, where it became really popular, and then disappeared again, moved to Argentina, where it's been popular since it first arrived in Argentina in the mid-1970s, and then in Spain at the turn of the century, suddenly everyone was playing Padel, and they still are. You've got Brittany there with that volley, just outside the top 80 in the world. There are some other good, talented American players. Vinny DiFrancesco, for example, of the Florida Goats, another one to definitely keep an eye on. So give it a few years. Progress continues. Oh, great shot cross court there by the 29-year-old Carla Rodriguez. Disguised it really well, just accelerated through the shot. And always keep an eye on where the player finishes the shot. Chance to get forward for Miami. Johan, lob over Marta. Doesn't track back, tries to hit it first time. If you can, you take the volley on. Unless there, she gets the shout, realizes that they both come forward, sends a lob over, Brittany Dubbins, looks for that bajada down the middle. And that was a bit wayward by Carla Rodriguez. And for the first time, under a bit of pressure on their service game. Big next point, the Toronto Polar Bears. Well, there you go. A chance to break back for Miami. Just need the 1 point. The Canadian side need 2. Send it to a golden point and then hang on to their service game. Brittany with a big hit has to scurry forward. Geordie takes over the shot down the middle. Now the play on the backhand side is the one that takes the vast majority of shots. Goes down the middle. As again, Carla goes long and Miami have broken back 4 games to 3. Still Toronto lead, but with serve now. Well, here, listening to the coaches, I'm going to keep quiet and give you a little roundup.
Vamos, vamos, vamos. Ahí. Tira para arriba, que no te escondas. Tira para arriba.
Well, basically, coaches are speaking there to Brittany and Marta Morga about the lob. They need a bit more depth on their lob.
Y ese globo es el que le cuesta a Carlos también, nomás le empuja.
And also, those lobs to Carla, you've seen her struggle in the last couple of games. We're listening here to the Miami Padel Club coach and players.
Mucho mejor,
Also just saying, again, mucho mejor. We're playing much better. Momentum with Miami Padel Club. Still down, but with serve in this opening set here at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Incredible venue. One of my favourite in New York. Definitely my top 3. A rare mistake. Jordana Luján, who likes to be called Geordie. Arriba gets to shout Brittany that both players have come forward. That's a good lob. Sends Marta back. Geordie. Now they're looking for Carla. Oh, gets a lucky kiss off the tape. But the rally continues. So alert there from Marta. Despite that being a passing shot, you've got to be alert. You've got to run towards that back wall, because the point can still be saved. There again, just allows it to bounce and then continue at the net. And with that backhand, sends it too long. Bertie Love, Miami Padel Club. Watching Podium day here. PPL II, Miami Padel Club, Toronto Polar Bears. And then after this game, do stay with us for San Diego Stingrays, New York Atlantics. They are up next in the men's doubles final. Sends it high. Good stretch there after Brittany. And that's the cage. That's the exact point where the metal fence, cage or mesh, meets the glass. Now, if you can aim shots there, they can come out at a complete right angle. Now, that was intentional. You can never be too sure exactly which direction the ball is going to go in, but if you look for that point, you can cause chaos. chance here to tie at 4-4. Again, that shot down the middle. You should aim most of your shots down that middle. It reduces risk, and it's also quite a good way of winning a point. Because sometimes you get players just expecting their doubles partner to cover that middle ground. For the angle to the cage there. Wonderful cross court to cover Brittany. In the end, and sent her volley into the net. Still 40-15, still 3 game points for Miami Padel Club. If you are just joining us, first set, Miami Padel Club, Toronto Polo Bears, PPL II, Podium Day, here at the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of Manhattan. Uses that back glass just to bounce off Marta. A bit of momentum. Quite a few players do that and slam into the back glass as Miami take the 8th game to tie 4-4 in this opening set. So the court. Okay, let's start with the basics. Padel, of course, you can see, has elements of other racket sports. You've got this enclosed court surrounded by walls. And usually, and if they do vary, it's in a few centimetres, if that, you get 10 metres the width and 20 metres the length. And you can see how the players use the walls to their advantage. You can play shots off the wall. You've got to kind of learn to make that wall your friend. I mean, don't be afraid of the wall. Sometimes it's better to allow a shot past you onto the wall, like there, for example, Marta, and then you have more time to prepare and you're not on your back foot defending the whole time. Now, if you've played another racket sport, automatically you kind of hit it first time. You know, to allow a ball past you doesn't come naturally. But it is a skill you can pick up and kind of need to pick up if you want to play padel. Watching PPL II. Nearing 9 in the morning, New York time. That's a great bajada. Bajada is that fast shot, which is aimed at keeping the ball close to the ground on the opposite side of the court, making it very difficult for the opponent to return the ball. That was well hit by Jordi Lujan. There's Jordi cross court anticipating. Oh, that was one of those ones where as soon as you let that ball past you, you realise, I should have hit it first time. Look where it bounced. Great pace on that shot by Marta Morga. 30-all. Brittany looks at the angle again, this time alert. Jordi Lujan. Was hoping to come across there, Jordi, to get back into position. Brittany has a quick look. Lob over Lujan. Down at the feet of Brittany, still at the net. And take that volley to still stay at the net. A couple of ground shots. Jordi to defend here and to get forward. Toronto. And went wide on that opportunity and quickly apologises to Britain. It was a big point at 30-all. It's now 40-30. Toronto Polar Bears serving for a 5-4 lead. for the lob on this occasion. Jordi, we're seeing her hit less bajadas than we did in their first 2 matches. And that bring back sets up a golden point. Good winner, Brittany Dobbins. But Toronto, I suppose, came up against, well, they didn't come up against Miami, did they? I mean, they played a good beat the smash. It was 6-3, 6-2. And DC Matrix were the other team they defeated. Shannon Hudson and Elgay Petrauskate, also in straight sets. But the in-form team here in New York. Oh, that's a huge point, a huge winner. They've been struggling. They were leading 4-2. But at 4-4, they hang on to their serve to put a bit of pressure on Miami. 5-4 in this opening set. We're back with the Miami team bench. Watching PPL II.
Tiene que hacerle a una
Miami,
o sea, no larga, sino
5-4.
siguiente, que la chica da 8 golpes, 9 golpes, porque la acaba tirando fuera.
Sí, yo creo que algunos pinky
Pero
no
sobre
cambias
todo
y
con
no
tu globo,
subes.
porque le viene así, está incómoda. Si le tira a ella, está más cómoda. Y tiene
I hear they're
paciencia.
saying
Esperar que ella se equivoque, o si la
in the vast majority of long rallies,
se sube.
you know, we get into more than 8-9 points and we kind of keep playing more towards Carla Rodriguez. They will start making mistakes. We've seen them make mistakes. Now we've tried to finish the point too early. But still, we're playing well. Got to go out, hold on to their service game, and tie the opening set at 5-5. So some of the shots we have seen so far, the bajada, that shot you bring back off the glass, attacking down the slice. Salida de pared, contra pared. Contra pared is a defensive shot, normally, which you play off the back wall to return a difficult shot. And the salida de pared is one where you use the side wall. Has to be the glass, not the fence. That would be out. The side glass wall on your side, and that just adds a bit more effect. Basically turn that ball spinning back on itself in the opposite direction. It's really difficult sometimes when it bounces on the other side of the court. And also you get interesting angles and can sometimes confuse your opponent if you can, use the salida pared, the side wall, when you return. Not an easy shot to master, however. Brittany. Johan with that double-handed backhand. Great technique. And that wasn't a bad attempt there from Carla. That's exactly what you need to do. If you're defending and you're the player, right up against the glass, and you send up a low lob, it's your doubles partner that needs to dart across when it gets to the ball before it goes back into your side of the net or to the other side of the net. There, Carla tried again, but unable to do it because they were two very good smashes. Oh, they're flying through their service game. 40 love. And a brilliant volley. And we have 5-5 in this opening set. I've won 4 of the last 5 games. Miami Padel Club, after that poor start when they won just 1 of the first 5 games. We're trading 4 games to 1 in this first set. And that carries just far enough. And they find themselves ahead. Okay, it's only 1 point, but they are no longer behind Miami. Oh, there was what somebody could call no man's land. It's tough, especially if it's a good shot down at your feet. It's one of those ones you don't really have time to get out the way. You're not in a position to let that past you and hit the glass, so you try and take that on first time. 15-all. Carla. Too much height on that return. Got away with it. Jordi Luján. Not that for her doubles partner, and I could see the gap. I could see exactly what she was trying to do, the Argentine. It was the right idea, but not quite the right execution. 15-30. Been an interesting first set. How both teams are really battling to try and gain control of the net. Now it's Miami who come forward. And if you're serving, you should be the ones at the net first. And they've lost the net. And they are now losing in this 11th service game. 5-5, 3 break points for Miami Padel Club. Marta Morga to receive. Dubbins. With the another lob. That's one of those ones that corridor of uncertainty where it's me, you, me, and sometimes you think me, then you see your doubles partner make a move, you kind of stop halfway, and then we saw Brittany pulled out and then didn't have enough time to readjust. It happens to the best of us. So don't worry when you start playing, you might start losing quite a few points with those shots down the middle. And that's wide, and a mistake by Carla Rodriguez. And Miami Padel Club have their break. They lead 6-5, and they'll be serving for the opening set. Great camera angle here from the back. How that ball hit the glass wall first before bouncing on the court. 6-5. Miami Padel Club lead the Toronto Polar Bears. Brittany Dubbins, Marta Morga defending the jersey of Miami. Jordi Luján, Carla Rodriguez, the Canadian outfit. Both clubs reaching podium day, winning their matches without dropping a single set. DC Matrix, Houston Volts, the team beaten by Miami Padel Club. Toronto also defeated DC Matrix and Las Vegas Smash. So the 2 best teams, the 2 teams that topped the standings in the women's final, and later in the men's final, 2 other unbeaten sides. Now 5th Mexico Waves, Florida Goats finished 4th, LA Beat 3rd with 1 win, 1 defeat. But the 2 clubs that won both of their games, New York Atlantics and San Diego Stingrays, will be up next in the men's final. The complete standings of the women's group saw the Volts finish bottom, DC Matrix 4th, Las Vegas Smash 1 win, 1 loss 3rd, Toronto 2nd on game difference, with Miami dropping less games in their 2 wins. They claimed 86% of games compared to Toronto's 71%. And here they lead 6-5. They only dropped 4 games in their 2 matches, Miami. So already 5 games here. They've turned a 4-1 deficit into a 6-5 lead serving, and that should be the first point. Brittany. Oh, saw Jordi Lujan try to get out of court. It's called La Salida. That's when you basically exit the court and try to keep the point alive. A pretty tough shot to do for many reasons. Safety, make it through that small gap when you're running at full speed carrying a racket, and then keeping an eye on the ball, getting back into play. The top players can do it. They make it look so easy. Marta. Another high lob just gives them time to get back into position. Not a bad option. Although you'll be on the back foot normally if you send over a high lob. Now a chance to get forward. And does it just enough there. Generates enough power. Marta Morga. Look at the body language now. Toronto Polar Bears after a blistering start, leading 4-1. Now down 30-15, having just been broken at 5-5. Marta Morga. Approach shot deep to the fence, onto the side glass walls, now having to backtrack. Lujan. Good reflexes, and again. Brittany are smarter to come forward. Muy atrás, getting told they are standing really well back. Normally means behind the service line. Brittany. One of the key elements in Padel is patience. It's almost like a game of chess. You've got to bide your time, make any silly mistakes, and then pounce at just the right moment. Clever angle on that by Marta. Good recovery though. Jordi Lujan. Longest rally in this opening set, and it's a huge point. This point, if they win it, Miami could give them 3 set points. That has to be the highest lob. I've seen a lob actually clear the back wall once when bouncing in court. That's 4 meters, the back wall. The side walls are 3. And in the end, they wear down gradually the Toronto Polar Bears. Miami Padel Club, 40-15, 3 set points. What a turnaround. Can they complete this impressive comeback by taking the opening set? Good delivery. And it's wide by Carla Rodriguez. And Miami Padel Club have taken the opening set, 7-5. Brittany Dubbins and Marta Morga, after a really slow start that saw them down 3-0, down 4-1, they battled back and they take the first set here at the Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan. Well, shortly we'll be back for the second set. Pressure really on the Toronto Polar Bears. If they win that second set, we would go to a super tie break. There's no safety net for the Canadians. Miami take a big step towards the title. Watching some highlights from the opening set, 7-5, Miami Padel Club battling back from 4-1 down. Did really well, really well. They looked to be struggling, but at 30-all in two key games, they broke in one and then hang on to their service game. It wasn't easy. You've got to give credit to how the Toronto Polar Bears have played. They have made Miami look uncomfortable in long periods, especially at the start. Very few unforced errors. But then gradually we saw Miami Padel Club start to control the point. Now, how do you control the point? You get to the net. You get to the net. And also look at the big difference. Serves, 72%. Anything over 70% is good. And we mentioned earlier how the Miami head coach was talking to the players saying, we are winning the vast majority of rallies over 8-9 shots. And there you've got 59% of long rallies have been won. So that's 6 out of every 10 points, which is a decent stat. They've not won the golden points. They haven't had to. 7-5. They have quite a good record, by the way, in golden points. In their opening match, they played 8-1-8 against the Houston Volts, which I think is a record. Second set. Morga. Little half volley there. And in the end, good passing shot, because the half volley was a tough shot. Of course, if you're bending low, slightly behind you, the only thing you can do is chip that ball forward there. And you can see it was a really good height, but it was a really good height. Why? Because the shot was actually towards Carla, but Geordie stepped across, anticipated, and when she did, it was a comfortable height to hit that sliced forehand winner. Marta with a good volley, getting forward at every opportunity, Miami. This is where they've been at their best, at the net. Marta. I don't think we've seen Brittany until now involved in this point. Maybe they've got clear tactics. The feet of Brittany looking for the middle ground again. That's not high enough to really test Brittany. Marta Morga. And a bit of a miss-hit on that occasion. Geordie Lujan straight into the tape, 15-all. Live from the Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan. Iconic venue here in New York. Watching the PPL II Podium Day. We have the women's final, followed by the men's final. Then it will be the turn of PPL, the third and fourth playoff matches, women's and men's, followed by the championship game, women's and men's. So we have 4 PPL games to look forward to, 2 PPL II matches. This is the first, and soon after this game finishes, it will be the turn of the men's pairing, San Diego Stingrays, Danny Diaz, Ivo and Matten, and New York Atlantic's Jose Carlos Gaspar and Jaime Fermosel. Slightly wayward on that occasion, Marta Morga. Brittany Dubbins, 34 years old, prefers playing on the left, highest ranked US player. Plays alongside Ana Cortiles normally, and the two have had quite a bit of success this year. In fact, prior to teaming up with Miami ahead of the PPL II, she was in Spain where she won the tournament in Valencia at La Nucia, playing alongside Ana Cortiles. One of several successes this year for Brittany, who in fact is playing her best paddle. So it's one of those sports that you don't, have to retire as soon as you hit mid-30s. You can continue playing into your 40s. We saw for DC Matrix, Elgay, hope she forgives me, Petra Kate, who basically, I think, is 41, and she was brilliant. I mean, great serve, excellent ground shots. A joy to watch alongside Shannon Hudson. So it's one of those games that, regardless of your age, you can still enjoy. So it just adds to the social appeal. You play doubles, it's lively, there's an interactive atmosphere because you are basically really close to your partner and the opposition. So it's always good to have a bit of banter. Did well, that was tucked against her body on that occasion, Brittany, but there's a huge gap. Uses the back glass really well. Marta sends it over. Geordie steps into Carla's territory. It's okay if you're on that backhand side to take a forehand on your strong side. Oh, I stumbled there, Carla. Key point after letting slip that 4-1 lead in the opening set. You need to avoid being broken in this second set, but they're not going to win this point. There we got that lucky bounce off the cage. It wasn't the best of smashes, but got, well, a bit of luck because that could have gone anywhere. Could have gone up, right, left. In the end, it went the opposite direction to where Carla Rodriguez was heading to. So we have a golden point to start this second set. Morga. That's a great bajada there by Carla Rodriguez. But they still stay in the point. Play again by Marta, who is having to hit a lion's share of points in this rally. And in the end, a mistake. We've seen that 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, the last 4 games. A long rally ending with an unforced error. So what happens is sometimes your opponents can just wear you down. Long rallies, I mean, lobs after lob after lob. You race forward, you track back, you race forward. There's some points can go on for minutes. And that's when you need to be mentally at your strongest. You've got to just be patient. Of course, if there is an opportunity, you go for it. But you just need to reduce risk. That is probably one of the, I would say, the basic, one of the most important rules of thumb when you play Padel. I mean, the game, the match, is often won by teams that make the less number of mistakes. And if you can couple that with being at the net, where a team normally wins most of the points, then that's a great combination. Few unforced errors, and you're dominating the net. And then when you start playing, you'll understand, depending on which side you are, how the ball bounces. Would you opt for a drive from the back down the middle? Because if you go down the side, yes, it can be riskier. But then again, if the players both converge on the middle, there's gaps right and left. As soon as you get out there, the first thing you do is basically see how the ball bounces, the racket. There are different racket shapes. Some rackets are more control-based, some are more power-based. I think if you're starting, you would look for a more control-based racket, and then you can start playing with different rackets, and as you progress and learn, you can change. There are rackets that kind of balance both. There, both players were too far back near the glass wall. Another easy point for Miami, who, unlike the first set, have started winning the first 2 games. Two love down. Toronto. Need to try and stop the rot after leading 4-1 in that opening set. One of the last 9 games. But still, one step at a time, 1 point at a time, 1 game at a time. Doesn't really hit it cleanly on that occasion. Again, another high lob. This time, Geordie wants to take over. And that's really good return there by Marta. You could see aiming for the feet of Geordie Lujan as she came across basically to that middle ground and then had to dart back to cover her side. She was probably 2 steps further back than she would have liked. And capitalising on that, Marta Morga with the shot down at the feet. That's wide as it hits the side fence. 15-30. There's that middle ground again, but covered by Marta Morga. Playing really well today, Marta, alongside Brittany Dubbins, taking that first set 7 games to 5, leading 2-0 here. Carlo scoops it up, has to race forward, but there's a big kick on the smash that takes it over the side fence. And in real trouble, the Toronto Polar Bears. This game is completely flipped. First set, 3-love, 4-1 lead for Toronto. And now, looking for a 3-0 lead, Miami in this second set. Carla aims for the middle, slams into the tape. Again, that will go down as an unforced error. 3-0. Miami lead. Also taking the first set. 7 games to 5. They are just 3 games away from the title. Break here between games. Now, I'm sure the men's doubles up next will be here at the venue, getting ready for their final. The San Diego Stingrays and New York Atlantics. Danny Diaz, 30-year-old Chilean. Ivo Andermatten, 23-year-old Argentinian. We're facing a pair of Spanish players, Jaime Fermosel and Jose Carlos Gaspar, both 28 years old. That is the next match here. And then it'll be the turn of the PPL. The 4 scheduled games at this court at the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of Manhattan. Third, fourth playoff, Toronto Polar Bears, LA Beat, and the lineups will be confirmed shortly. For the Beat, it will be Aranzazu, Osorio, Ulrich, Victoria Iglesias, and they will face either Marta Caparrós and Noemi, or could be also Nuria Rodriguez for the Canadian side. And it's the men's Toronto against New York Atlantics. Following those third, fourth playoff matches, the final, the championship, Podium Day, San Diego Stingrays, Goats, women's, and the men's, DC Matrix, Houston Volts. Serving for a follow-lead, got the bell slightly wrong, does happen, happens often. Love 15. Big shouts as that ball goes into the net. 15-0. Oh, should Toronto fall here, it would still be a great tournament for the Canadian side. 2 wins in the round robin, beating Las Vegas Smash and DC Matrix, picking up some valuable points in that race to qualify for that PPL II event, because it's also a PPL II event, the Cities Cup Finals in Miami. Why? Well, because at the conclusion of the regular season, the top 2 women's and men's pairings will qualify for the Cities Cup as wild card entrants, and they will compete in a play-in match against the PPL's 7th and 8th seeded teams, with the winners qualifying for the quarterfinals of the Cities Cup. So a lot at stake over the course of this inaugural season in the PPL II. There are 10 clubs, the teams finishing 9th and 10th fail to qualify directly. They will miss out on the Cities Cup finals in Miami. Chance here for 4-0 lead. It's there for the taking. Winds up Brittany and gets a big smash out off the back wall. Brings it over to her side of the court, and it's 4-0 in the second set. Serving 4-love down, Toronto. Good volley winner. You can see there, it was on Marta's side of the court. That's what you need to do. You take that step across, you anticipate. Good pick up, Marta. This one though, well wide. 15-0. The game just over the hour mark. Started at 8:15 local time here in New York. It's now 25 9:30. Now, no earlier than midday, it will be the turn of the PPL to take centre stage here at this iconic venue in Manhattan. But until then, all eyes on the PPL II. Men's doubles final coming up next after this women's doubles final, which could be reaching its end after a tight first set, 7-5. They are 15-30 down on their serve, Toronto, and 4-love down. A mountain to climb for the Canadian team. Marta. Patient lob. Well, that's a wonderful passing shot. Now, did so many of those against Las Vegas Smash and DC Matrix. And here, disguises it really well, Jordi Lujan. Not until that last moment does she open up her body, twist at the waist, and send it cross court. Superb bajada. All. Covers the middle ground really well. Doesn't quite get the angle she wants there. Ooh! Win the point, but that could have been really tough. I would have dropped over on the side of Miami. It's, you know, you don't have many options. In the end, Lady Luck smiling on Miami. 2 break points. Might have been out. But they get the benefit of the doubt. Toronto. And they lose the point. Carla Rodriguez sends that forehand tamely into the net. And it's a 5-0 lead in this second set. When they come back out, it will be Miami Padel Club serving for the match. Podium day here, PPL II, and unless we see a quite remarkable turnaround from the Toronto Polo Bears, it's going to be Miami Padel Club who will take the honours here at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Fought back from 4-1 down in the opening set to claim it's 7 games to 5, and they just carried that momentum into their second set, where they've won 5 straight games to take a 5-0 lead. So since that 4-1 lead, Toronto have won just 1 game compared to 11 for Miami. Serving for the match, Brittany Dobbins. That was out. Hit the side fence. 15-love. Snatched at the volley slightly. The American #1 has been the top seed for several years. Brittany spends quite a lot of her time also playing in Europe. But the good thing here is now you've got the PPL II as a really good competition for players here in North America, and a chance to play other players at what is a very good level. And of course you have that added incentive that come the end of the regular season, you can take part in the Cities Cup finals. $30-all. 2 more points, just 2 more points needed. 7-5, 5-0. Toronto Polar Bears deserve to be here in this final. Two superb performances in the group stage. But after leading 4-1, they have been outclassed in this match. 2 championship points for Miami Padel Club. Brittany Dobbins serving. A double-handed backhand. Jordi Lujan. High lob there from Carla Rodriguez. She slips, has to get back to her feet quickly. And does. Jordi covers really well. Sends over the lob. Driven at Brittany by Lujan. Little chip shot there by Carla and couldn't get the ball over the net. And it's over here at the Hammerstein Ballroom. A victory for Miami Padel Club. Superb how they recover from that slow start in the opening set. They were trailing by 4-1, and then suddenly they started to build up steam, build up momentum. They were dominating the net. They cut out those unforced errors. You saw Toronto under a bit more pressure, and a 4-1 deficit turned into a 7-5 opening set for the club from Miami. They then took the second set without dropping a single game. Congratulations also to Toronto for qualifying for Podium Day, Jordi Lujan and Carla Rodriguez. But the win taken by Brittany Dobbins and Marta Morga. It's ended here. Podium Day, the first game of this morning session at the Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan, with a victory for Miami Padel Club. They've beaten the Toronto Polar Bears in straight sets, 7-5, 6-0. Highlights from this first match. Miami were always the favourites, but it didn't start that way for the Florida-based club, as it was Toronto who actually won the first 3 games and took a 4-1 lead. Oh, you can hear in the background the Miami team celebrating. I mean, these two players, if they can, stick together, avoid any injury, Marta Morga and Brittany Dobbins, could give quite a few pairings on the PPL circuit a really good game. And of course, they'll be playing together at these PPL II events from now on until the end of the regular season. There are events coming up in Los Angeles, Guadalajara, Playa del Carmen, and then the season finale. So you finish 7th or 8th in that women's ranking in the PPL, and you would face probably Miami. Now, here in New York, there are only 5 women's pairings and 5 men's pairings of the 10 teams. So the 5 women's pairings, there were different teams in the men's pairings, and they switch at the next tournament. So all the teams will play the same number of games during the regular season. There is the celebration. Good win for Miami. And posing with the trophy, Miami Padel Club. The CEO, Mike Dolphin, awarding the winners. a well-deserved title. They've played superbly. They really tested in this final. They cruised through their 2 round-robin games, dropping just 4 games. They dropped 5 alone in the first set here, which they won 7-5. Serves won 73%. They failed to win any golden points in the opening set. They won the golden point that was played in set 2, and again dominating those long rallies. That was really important when the coach said to the players they were trailing 4 games to 1, let's just focus on getting these points over 8-9 shots, because these long rallies we're coming out on top more often than not, and they did. So incredible performance by Brittany Dubbins and Marta Morga. Coming up, San Diego Stingrays, New York Atlantics. It's the men's final. Don't go too far away here. We'll be back shortly at the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of Manhattan. Podium Day, PPL II. Up next, Danny Diaz, Ivo, Andon Matten, Jose Carlos Gaspar, Jaime Fermoselle. San Diego Stingrays, New York Atlantics. Hello, welcome back here to the Hammerstein Ballroom, heart of Manhattan. Still at this wonderful venue, iconic venue in the center of Manhattan. Coming up, the second final podium day of the PPL II. Moments ago, we saw the women's double. Superb performance. Miami Paddle Club beating Toronto Polo Bears 7-5, 6-0. Brittany Dubbins. Superb alongside Marta Morga. Congratulations on that win. We just saw the players collect their trophy. They are now out celebrating, but now attentions turn to San Diego Stingrays. Danny Dier, 30-year-old from Chile, plays on the drive side alongside Ivo and Matt, and there we're seeing Jaime Fermosel. He plays with a baseball cap. 28, hails from Spain. So does his doubles partner, Jose Carlos Gaspar, also 28 years old. He plays on the drive side. Now, been really impressed by these four players so far in their two group games. San Diego Stingrays, well, they were made to work hard in their two matches to qualify for podium day. They beat the Mexico Waves in a super tiebreak. They then needed another super tiebreak to win. So they beat the Florida Goats 6-2, 4-6, 10-8. And again, super tiebreak to see off the club from Mexico. As for the New York Atlantics, 2 wins from their 2 outings. They defeated the LA Beat, the pairing formed by Jacobo Blanco and Luis Estrada, before winning in straight sets 7-6, 6-3. Briega and Di Francesco losing yesterday to Jose Carlos Gaspar and Jaime Fermosel. So 2 teams unbeaten. Something we have to give here in the final. So a quick look at what else is happening here at the Hammerstein Ballroom. We started at 8:15 local time with the women's doubles, won by Miami Paddle Club, and now it's the men's doubles. It'll be followed by the 3rd place match from the PPL. Women's up first, Toronto Polar Bears, Los Angeles Beat, followed by the men's 3rd placed game, Toronto Polar Bears, New York Atlantics. Not before 3 o'clock local time here in the US. San Diego Stingrays, Florida Goats in the Women's Championship game. And shortly after that contest ends, it will be the turn of the men's doubles final. DC Matrix, Houston Volts. But here we are, podium day started early today. Up bright and early to watch a thrilling game that saw Miami start slowly, trail 4 games to 1, then go on the rampage. From 4-1 down, they won the first set 7-5, winning 7 of the next 8 games, and then added 6 on the bounce in that second set. So 13 of 14 games claimed in a row by Brittany Dubbins and Marta Morga. Now, having seen these players play in their groups in that round robin, very impressed by the pairing formed by the New York Atlantics. Now on the far end, you've got the San Diego Stingrays, Danny Dier and Ivo and Matin. Now, Ivo is from Argentina, 23 years old, plays on the backhand side. He's also sporting that baseball cap. Danny Dier, Chilean, forehand side, big hitter, 30 years old. Their opponents, Jose Carlos Gaspar is the taller of the 2 players in the dark jersey. Alongside Gaspar, compatriot Jaime Fermosel, also with that white baseball cap. It's quite easy to pick out. watching this rally here. In the warm-up, shortly we'll be underway in this championship game. Normally players get a warm-up of about 5 minutes, and then the focus will be on starting strongly, trying not to be broken early on. What we saw in the women's doubles final, that a team that were broken very early on in that opening set went on to win the match. But still, you want to try and start on the front foot, and also during points, what you need to try and do is to get, if possible, to the net. Now, you will see the players aim to control the net, because if you're at the net, you're more likely to dominate the point. You will probably be darting back and forth during the point, chasing lobs, trying to get forward again to regain the net. But if you watch paddle players, you know, one of the basic rules of thumb is points are more often won by the team that holds the net for the vast majority of a point. Now, that is one key element. Another is it helps if you keep the ball in play, not just, you know, pasabolas, as they say in Spanish, just, you know, playing lobs continually, but you need to cut out stupid mistakes, unforced errors. So you need to minimize errors to try and win the game, control the net to try and win more points. Maybe other tactics, if you're watching paddle for the first time, is looking to hit those balls down the middle to reduce risk. Perhaps when you start, maybe 30 to 40% of your shots will be lobs from the back, which, yes, they are normally more defensive, but they often give you the opportunity to get forward and take control of the net. Strategy, communication, formation, things you will pick up if you watch world-class paddle like the PPL II and PPL, and also if you've got a right-handed player and a left-handed player, because with two right-handed players, okay, so you've got a right-handed team, normally the stronger player plays on the left, on the backhand side, because on their stronger shot, which isn't normally backhand, it's the forehand, they'll be taking those shots down the middle, the smashes down the middle. So the stronger player will play on that side, and the more defensive, consistent player perhaps on the right. Now, if you've got a left-handed partner, 99% of the time they would take the right-hand side. So both players would have that main shot of theirs down the middle. So, you know, there are lots of tactics, formations that can be used, but I would say try and, you know, cut out those silly mistakes. You've got to be patient. Sometimes points are basically like slow cooking. You need to find that opportunity before trying to hit a couple of approach shots, get to the net, and then, like a game of chess, move, 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 checkmate. So here we are, ready for the opening game of the PPL II final. San Diego Stingrays, New York Atlantics. Stingrays serving Danny Diaz. So far in the PPL II, the biggest hitter has been Jose Carlos Gaspar, who just sends that volley into the net. Some superb overhead shots, mixes up the spin, lots of top spin, so many por threes and por fours. Now, por three is a smash that goes over the sidewall because that's 3 meters high, and a por four is one that goes over the back wall, which is 4 meters. Good tuck away there. Lovely shot, Danny Diaz. Just catching Gaspard wrong-footed. 30 love. Well, so far, good service game. Stingrays. And Atlantics vying for the title. Moments ago, a victory for Miami Padel Club in the women's doubles. And you can see a quick changeover. Fer Marcel and Jose Carlos Gaspar, who will be serving. Losing the first game, but with serve. But have yet to win a point in this final. Jaime Fer Marcel has some really good overhead shots. Very dynamic, quick, covers the court really well. And as for his doubles partner, Jose Carlos Gaspar, has incredible wingspan. I mean, and those balls set up high. More often than not, he'll look for the big hit. So quite exciting to watch. Deep serve. And there's that smash. Straight in, good serve. Sets him up for the smash winner. Now, did exactly what he needed to do there, Danny Diaz. When you see Gaspar preparing for a smash, you dart forward. Gives you a chance to get that ball back over the net. And on that occasion, Jaime Fer Marcel unable to dig it out from under his feet. 15-all. There, darting forward. Gaspar has to backtrack. Uses the back glass really well. Oh, that's frustrating for Ivo and Matten. Look how close he was. Read the intentions really well. Set off anticipated, but just unable to make contact. 30-15, New York Atlantics. Follows it really well. Gaspar, Fer Marcel. Powerful backhand through that gap again. Down the middle. Good block volley. And a Matten. And they take the point, 30-all. Watching the PPL II final live from the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of Manhattan. This great, iconic venue, which last year hosted the Cities Cup finals. This season, the inaugural event of what is going to be a thrilling year once again for PPL and also PPL II. We've been here in New York from Thursday through to today, Podium Day. Next, up Los Angeles, 13th to the 16th of August. Then in September, Playa del Carmen in Mexico. November, Guadalajara. And the 3rd to the 6th of December, Miami. Golden point. However, and Matten with the winner. You can see was towering over the net. When those balls come over without much pace, try and get to as close as the net as possible. Gives you a better angle to hit that smash. You've got less net height to clear. The further you stand back, the worse. And there it is, the golden point, and a big winner on this occasion, Jaime Fer Marcel. 1-1. Now, throughout this commentary, and also throughout these days, we've been watching the PPL II. Been mixing some English commentary with a few Spanish words, because the vast majority of words, at least the technical shots, do come from Spanish. Because, of course, this game was invented by a Mexican, and look at the countries that have dominated this sport since the early 1980s. And it's been Argentina and Spain. Quite a few players also from Brazil. We're starting to see players from other continents also climbing up that ladder, the ranking worldwide. But there are so many shots. For example, the bandeja, which is the tray shot, which is one that you use very often for that high bouncing ball. There was the bandeja. Perfect timing. Thank you very much, Fermosel. Setting up Ivo with that lob so he could hit the bandeja. That comes up well short. And Fermosel with the winner. Well, we just saw Ivo and Matten with the bandeja, which is basically you carry a tray, imagine, with some drinks, high over your right hand shoulder, and you basically bring it down across your body to the waist on your left hand side. Well, that's the kind of action you need to do with the racket, open faced, and that kind of grazes the ball and it brings it down, takes a bit of pace off it, and it's a good shot to attack a lob. So you will see lots of bandejas, the tray, its translation. Another shot is the víbora. There's the top-spin smash. Scurries back superbly. Diaz again with the hit, and this time brings it home. Oh, the víbora is another shot which is very similar to the bandeja. Technique similar. The big difference, though, is the pace. That racket motion, a lot quicker. The ball travels at a faster pace. It's a very challenging shot to play if it's hit correctly. Well, back-to-back golden points in this opening set. The first one was won by the New York Atlantics. And now we've got San Diego Stingrays serving for a 2-1 lead. Gaspar. That's great side spin off the side wall, but well watched by Edo Matten, then darts forward. Quick looking to gain control of the net. Both San Diego Stingrays and New York Atlantics. Doesn't carry far enough. Doesn't get a clean hit on this occasion. Over Edo Matten to track back. Done as well. Another lob. Gaspar with the bandeja. Another huge lob. And then it comes forward. Bit of a risk. Bit of a risk as it wasn't the best of lobs. And another good winner, Jaime Fermosel. And they lead 2-1. And there's a break in the opening set. New York Atlantics ahead in the final. 2-1. Well, the first break of the opening set of this PPL II final. Podium day here at the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of Manhattan. Later on, after this match finishes, you can join Pete Consuegra and Javier Carrasco for Spanish commentary of the PPL Podium Day, and also Brian Finley and Germán Klaus for English commentary. The broadcast will be following all the games, third, fourth playoff, men's and women's, and also the 2 championship games. So 4 more games to look forward to after this second header of the slate, the final one of the PPL II. Day started at 8:15 local time in New York. Ooh, that didn't sting because it came off the trainer. You quickly apologise to your opponent, but there's not much you can do. It's one of those ones where you see somebody basically getting ready for a big smash. Bit kamikaze, but you actually race towards the player smashing, hoping the ball passes you, comes off the back glass, and then you're at the net where you need to be to try and win it. Good winner. Well, has been holding back slightly, Jose Carlos Gaspar, but that is what he can do. He and Fermacell are both big hitters, and they're racing through their service game. 40 to love. Looks at the topspin, and it has enough power to carry off the side fence onto their side of the court, and they have now consolidated the break from the previous game. 3-1. New York Atlantic's lead the San Diego Stingrays. Big success, this PPL II. Really great decision to create this competition parallel to the PPL, which has been around since 2023. Just seems like the natural progression. And the big bonus for the players competing in this PPL II is that at the conclusion of the regular season, so you total up the number of points, positioning, placements. Good reflexes there, and it's out by mistake again at the net. They're starting to make a few unforced errors, San Diego Stingrays. Just quickly go back to that format. The top 2 pairings in the men's and women's, so if you qualify for a final, you win a title, you pick up points. And then over the course of the year, with all the events that are taking place, the top 2 men's and women's, there's a salida. Ah, wonderful shot. Just guided it into net, and that is valid. You can do that. Now, you need great technique, good awareness, excellent footwork, and then the composure. The composure. Just to pause the balsa, they call it in Spanish, and then the backhand volley into the base of the net. 30-all. I mean, I could see these 2 pairings pushing for a place at the Cities Cup, because if they do finish first and second at the end of the regular season, they would qualify for the wild card game at the Cities Cup. It'd be a play-in against the teams that finished 7th and 8th in the PPL. So of the 10 franchises or clubs, 2 failed to qualify for the season finale. Of the 8 that do qualify, the teams 7th and 8th would have to play the teams 1st and 2nd of the PPL II. So it's a wild card entrant for each of the 2. So there's 2 men, 2 women, and they play that play-in match. And if they win it, they would qualify for the quarter-finals of the Cities Cup. Gaspar. Sends over the high lob. Fermacell. Calls for it, Diaz. It goes out again. Sends over the high lob to allow him to get back onto the court. Anticipated so well, and again Gaspar. And this time it doesn't go out. Oh! Incredible! That is my favorite shot, along with the chancletazo. Just caresses the ball over the net. It's a kind of dormilona. The way that ball just fell asleep on the other side of the net. Great play there by Gaspar. And what a turnaround. Credit, hat off to Jose Carlos Gaspar. The big point when he came off court and hit it into the net. And then again to keep the next rally alive. And then that incredible drop shot. Just watch the technique. Keep your eye. That's the ball that goes out. But let's see if we can see that drop shot again.
Viene muy fácil la bolsa.
Pero me está yendo muy profundo, no pasa nada, que cansa. Lo normal es que te salga aquí. Si te montas ahí otra vez. Es que tengo que esperar a que me haga un poquito más corta. Sí, suya. Me está yendo para dejarla con pares y reiniciarlo. Pero en algunos se le va a quitar.
Jugando al panel contra esto.
Well, basically saying that you're playing brilliantly against these two good players. We're hearing Jaime Fermosel just saying, I think at times I'm maybe just attacking the ball slightly too early, need to be a bit more patient. But the coach is saying you're playing really well, and they have been playing really well. They've just won another golden point, and they are ahead in this opening set. That was great play. Jose Carlos Gaspar, the 28-year-old Spaniard, with 3 superb shots in the same service game. Didn't win it single-handedly, of course, but still, he'll grab the headlines with those 2 salidas racing off court, and then that wonderful drop shot. So serving 4-1 up. Carlos with the... well, he's been excellent. I think he's been the standout player, Jose Carlos Gaspar. Really has been, alongside Fermosel, one of the big discoveries, I think, of this PPL II. And then that smash down onto the feet of Ivo and Matin. Nothing quite going right for the San Diego Stingrays in these last few games. 4-1, 30 love. Look at the body language. You can just tell. But in the women's doubles, it looked very similar in that you had Toronto Polar Bears leading 4 games to 1 before losing 7-5, 6-0. But it's now 5 games to 1, and I have to say, the New York Atlantics have definitely carried the form we saw in their wins over Jacobo Blanco and Luis Estrada of the LA Beat, and Briega and Di Francesco of the Florida Goats into this final. That was good from Ander Matin, the Argentine. Another superb winner. You can just see how he has his racket back nice and early and then accelerates through the shot. Try and hit that ball at the highest contact point possible. And then just took all the power out of the smash on that occasion. Danny Diaz, this is good for San Diego Stingrays. They'll be looking for a comfortable service game. Still though, a big hill to climb in this opening set. Double-handed backhand looking to catch out Danny Diaz. And that's a good topspin smash. Good winner there from the Chilean. 5 games to 2, but serving when we get back for the opening set, the New York Atlantics So for those watching for the first time, hopefully you've enjoyed the PPL II, which has been running parallel to the PPL. And the PPL will be up next after this men's PPL II final. We have 4 more games to look forward to here from the Hammerstein Ballroom, right in the centre of Manhattan. Well, 5 games to 2, serving for the first set, the New York Atlantics. Will be Jaime Fermoselle to serve. Oh, taking slightly longer to get back out onto court. Danny Diaz and Ivo and Martin, no doubt the head coach, just spending a bit more time with his players. Now they need to break here for 5-3, win their service game for 5-4, and break again. They are 2 service breaks down in this first set. Looking for that joint where the glass wall joins the mesh fence. If you can, when you're at the net, it's always good to look for those angles where you can kind of hit it cross court, sliced if possible into the fence. It's always unpredictable, a lottery. If you can, make contact where the 2 join, then you will win 90% of the points. Drifts just out there from Jose Carlos Gaspar. 15-all. So when you serve, you have 2 main options. Of course, I mean, when you serve, you can serve down the line, deep, bit of spin, aim for the side wall. When it comes to tactics and formation with your partner, the idea is you always stay on your side of the court. So there are times when you would be in line with your doubles partner for the serve. And this is what we're seeing here. Fermoselle plays on the left-hand side, so he'll serve and move across to that left-hand side. Great volley there, Danny Diaz. No pace needed, no power, low bouncing. One of those one tennis style drive. Give it a good wallop. It will literally bounce and then climb off the wall. That's not the shot you want to do. Well, golden point. A bit of drama in this first set. A chance to break for the San Diego Stingrays and stay alive in this first set. Good deep backhand volley. Gaspar, and it's a weak shot straight into the net. Jaime Fermoselle, and we have a break. They still need to now win their service game and break after the players come back after the switching of ends. Jose Carlos Gaspar, but it's a start for San Diego. Danny Diaz serving. Wraps his 2 hands around the ball and goes long. Seen 2 unforced errors for Fermoselle in the previous service game and 1 here to start. Here, it wasn't a tough volley, it was a very good height. Just got under the ball. And an excellent bajada. Well, momentum has shifted. These last 2 games, they've looked really good, San Diego Stingrays. 30 love. Tennis-esque double-handed backhand from Fermoselle, looking for the side fence with a cross-court volley. reacted quickly. Adam Martin gets a lucky bounce, a really lucky bounce. So Danny Diaz, one of those ones where you win the point, apologise to your opponent, and then look at your teammate and just smile. Apology, and then the smile. Covered on the ground there. So Carlos Gaspar, decent lob. Gaspar, and gets it wrong. There was a tremendous amount of spin on that lob as it came off the back glass. Took a big risk. Jose Carlos Gaspar with the hit, and we've seen back-to-back games won by the San Diego Stingrays. 5-4, still the New York Atlantic's lead, and they will be serving. It will be the turn of Jose Carlos Gaspar, the Spaniard, to try and serve out the opening set. So, if you've got a pen handy, jot down basic rules of thumb. If you want to start playing Padel, limit errors, common sense. Try and control the net, but if you do control the net, you kind of both need to be there. You're on a string, so you try and play on that string. You both stay forward. If your doubles partner shifts more to the left, you then shift more to the centre, and vice versa. It's okay if one player drops back. Should you both drop back, depends what the intentions are of the player at the back. Are they going to lob and rejoin you at the net? Why the net? Because it's where players, and you can see it here, win the vast majority of the points. And also, if you have a bit of a mishit, it's more likely to go in if you're volleying down than if you're hitting a ground shot. Big kick on that topspin smash. 15 love. That'll be good for the confidence of Jaime Fermosel after those 3 unforced errors in the last 2 games. That's a decent delivery down the middle, bounced really low, but a spin on that from Jose Carlos Gaspar. 30 love. Well, that is confidence now. 3 straight points. A chance to take the opening set. Another good serve. Gets the net tight. Gets a lucky break again with the net. Oh, incredible cross court. Well, Jaime Fermosel with a wonderful cross court. Completely caught out his opponents. And a love service game. Smiles now on the bench of the New York Atlantics. I'm sure there was some nerves after missing a set point earlier and then losing 2 straight games, but they came out 5-4, and Jose Carlos Gaspar and Jaime Fermosel serving out a love service game to take the opening set here at the Hammerstein Ballroom. That angle just opened up his body. Superb, and not a chance for Adam Martin to get that back into play. First set, New York Atlantics join us after a quick break. And back for the second set here from the Hammerstein Ballroom here in the heart of Manhattan. Podium Day PPL II and PPL I. Early today, Miami Padel Club won the women's doubles, beating Toronto Polar Bears 7-5, 6-0. And here in the first set, it was won by the New York Atlantics. Let's see if they can carry the form into the second set, or can the San Diego Stingrays, who by the way are super tiebreak pros. They've played 2 matches here at the Padel House in Green Point. That's where the PPL II was playing up until here, the final. They played 2 matches and both went to a super tie-break. So I wouldn't rule out San Diego Stingrays winning this set and then going into a 3rd super tie-break. They beat Florida Goats and Mexico Waves in super tie-breaks. Didn't get a clean hit. Danny Diaz and a Matten. Was there a double touch there? Seemed like it. Now, there's no umpire here, but of all the games I've watched and commentated, only one was there a mini dispute. 15-all. And in the end, they just played the point again, which is the right thing to do. Danny Diaz. Comes across. Fed Marcel. Played there by Danny Diaz, who set himself up for that smash winner by anticipating the previous shot really well. It was all about gradually building to that moment where you get that opportunity to hit a winner. Don't sometimes look to win it too early. Topspin not good enough. And that is what happens if you don't choose the shot correctly or don't execute it correctly. It wasn't an easy winner that Danny Diaz was looking for. In the end, got sold short. And there on hand, Jose Carlos Gaspar to set up 3 break points for the New York Atlantics. Pressure already on the Stingrays. Diaz with the serve. But, get down low there. A tough shot and a Matten. Now, there he was caught on the back foot, couldn't dart forward, and also his doubles partner, Jose Carlos Gaspar, was also behind the service line. Now what should happen there is that your doubles partner races cross court to try and anticipate the smash and be as close to the net as possible to try and get that ball back into play. If you're both stuck up against the glass, there's no way you're getting that ball back into play. Really good, tucked into the corner. Well, it's a golden point. Battling back, San Diego Stingrays, trying to avoid being broken in the opening game of the 2nd set. After this point, I'll describe what happens when it is a golden point. And that's why, from Diaz, and a good battle there, blow for blow, Jose Carlos Gaspar and Danny Diaz with the Spaniard coming out on top. So just quickly, when it comes to, a bit of frustration there from Diaz at the end, understandable. When it comes to receiving a golden point, so 40-30, 30-40, goes to a deuce, which is a golden point. So the team serve, but it's the team that receives who decides which of the 2 players receives that serve. It's not always on the drive side. So it could be the player who won the previous point because confidence is high. It could be the more experienced, the more veteran player. It could be because you prefer playing from the backhand side or the forehand side. Or maybe the server's serving better to one side of the court. A lot comes into play. It's not always the better player who receives every golden point. Marcelo with a really high lob. Luckily, these ceilings are very high, perfect for many events, including Padel. Going long on that occasion. Again, it was a really good angle. He's starting to find those angles, almost like a squash player. Marcel, the way he kind of like just bends that wrist and finds some great angles on those cross-court volleys. That clips of Jose Carlos Gaspard, flies over the wall. Remember to stay with us. Once this game ends, there'll be a very short trophy ceremony. And then it will be the turn of the PPL here at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Some really good games to look forward to later on. You've got to start the day, not before 12 o'clock local time, as Adam Mattin cuts across and hits the smash winner. You've got Toronto Polar Bears, LA Beat. That is the women's third place match. That will be followed by the men's third placed match. Again, it's Toronto Polar Bears, New York Atlantics. Now, not before 3 o'clock local time here in New York, the women's championship game, San Diego Stingrays, Florida Goats. Next up, in the final match, DC Matrix, Houston Volts. 4 games following this second PPL II final here in Manhattan. 30 all. That's my chancletazo. That is my shot. I mean, it's... I'll explain the chancletazo in a second. There's a chance here. Take a 2-love lead. Vamos macho. That's macho's like guy, basically. So it's come on, vamos macho. Now, having won the last point, wants to receive again. Adam Mattin. And that wasn't a bad idea there, Danny Dearth. He was right to anticipate, but the execution not quite what he was looking for. Goes out straight against the wall, and it's a 2-love lead for New York Atlantics. They've broken, they've hanging on to... Well, when you look at the service game, if you go back to the first set, they did break early. They broke twice. They got broken back once before winning that first set 6-4. Got an early break again in this second set. So already pressure on the San Diego Stingrays, who, funny enough, played their best paddle when they were backs up against the wall. And that brilliant backhand smash winner. One of the toughest shots. It looks easy to actually do. The kind of power you generate with that backhand smash. And of course, he was standing really close to the net, Jose Carlos Gaspard, which makes his job slightly easier. But it's all about anticipation and being where you need to be, which makes the shot a lot easier or harder. If you're flat-footed, not on your toes, nice low shot down at the feet there by Jaime Fermosel. It makes life a lot tougher. It's all about preparation. As with any racket sport, be prepared for the next shot. Don't ball watch. Racket to the middle. Stay on your toes. Be alert. You see these players never stop bouncing or moving. Love 30. Oh, and that's a painful one for the Stingrays. 4 break points for New York Atlantics. Good lob over, and Mattin stands his ground. Gaspard looks for the fence, cross court. Fermosel with a bit of side spin into the corner. Again, back behind the baseline. That was a tough one to dig out for the Argentine. Decent lob, takes on the shot early, doesn't clear the side fence. Brilliant backhand slice. Excellent, perfect. They salvage break point number 1. Still 3 more. Baba, come on, come on. Jose Carlos Gaspar. Good show up against the glass. Well, both players wanted that one. It was Andrew Matten who took it on. Chip and charge there. And a clever volley from Fermoselle. And that's an even better shot. Spotted a huge gap as Danny Diaz was covering the side and just guided it down the middle in that corridor of uncertainty. And what a blistering start to the second set. In real trouble, the San Diego Stingrays, and looking very good indeed, the New York Atlantics. I like listening to what goes on here by the bench and how body language, momentum. You can hear the coach. The coach doesn't have much time. Of course, you have time to prepare before the game, but during games, you can only make minor amendments. Sometimes a player, and players are very different, need, I wouldn't say a shoulder to cry on, but they need a confidence boost, and other players need hair dryer treatment, bit of a grilling. So when you've got two very different personalities on the same team, you have 90 seconds more or less between end switches to try and get the best out of your players. Now, we know how well the San Diego Stingrays can play. We've seen it so far here at the PPL II. Now they need to bring their best game into the remainder of this second set. Gets it into play, and that's clever, and that's a brilliant cross-court drop shot. I mean, he's full of tricks, isn't he? Jose Carlos Gaspar. I mean, this is really well played, but there's a deft touch from the Spaniard here. Diaz almost got there. Back foot for the Stingrays. 3-0 down in this second set. Drift that lob over superbly. Andon Matten. That's in. Even better, Fermoselle. The winner just punches that volley past Danny Diaz. Service, Fermoselle, and that serve was half the point. It set up Jose Carlos Gaspar with a comfortable smash. Still, it was a good overhead winner, but the serve, so important. You will rarely, if ever, see an ace at this level. If you're learning, feel like I do, there'll be lots of aces, and you'll be on the receiving end. But if you're just starting off, it's difficult to gauge how the ball bounced. At this level, you see so few aces, which is why you work on the spin, on the depth, try and set up for the next shot. They're going long. On that occasion, Jaime Fermoselle. mean, you've got a feel for the San Diego Stingrays. 4-love down, serving Danny Diaz. It's still been a very good tournament for San Diego. Still not over the final. But they just seem to have lost their way a little, and also they're playing against two players who are playing probably, I don't know if it's to their full potential, pretty close. The great back glass that was from Gaspard. And there took his eye off the ball slightly. It wasn't easy for Jaime Fermoso because he was drifting towards the fence, expecting the ball to go up against the fence. Instead it was slightly more central, couldn't readjust in time. Diaz. Oh, wonderful. Just caresses that ball over the net. Ivor Andon Matin with a delightful drop shot. Hit with just enough backspin. Clever lob. Faked. Ibachada for sending over the lob. And now they're on top of the point here at the net. Just got it slightly wrong. Not seen too many of those from Jose Carlos Gaspard. A chance to get their first game up on the scoreboard in this second set. San Diego Stingrays. And again, looking for that passing shot down the line into the net. The Spaniard. 4-1. Quick reminder of what happened earlier today in the women's doubles final. Miami Padel Club beat Toronto Polar Bears 7-5, 6-0. Brittany Dobbins and Marta Morga, the winning doubles team in that PPL II final. Toronto Polar Bears, represented by Jordi Luján and Carla Rodriguez, did really well in the group stages. Won both games, but in the end able to overcome the America #1 Dobbins and play ranked 4th in the USA ranking, Marta Morga. So title for Miami Padel Club in the PPL II, and right now it looks like the New York Atlantics are close to claiming the men's doubles final. Took the first set 6-4. They lead in this second set 4-1. Serving Atlantics. Nice shot by Jose Carlos, and now they're on top. The aim is to stay at the net, put their opponents under pressure, and they do. Going long with his attempted drive, and a Matin. That's well short, and he keeps his eye on the ball and hits a very good overhead winner. Jaime Fermosel, 30-love. They are cruising through their service games, New York Atlantics. And again, Andon Matin sends his shot long. Four opportunities, if needed, for the Atlantics to take a 5-1 lead in this second set. Well, Andon Matin going long again. That's something that you do see often. I'm not saying it's a lapse in concentration, far from it, but sometimes things just don't go your way, and in a blink of an eye, you've lost 3 or 4 points and a game. Wide. Danny Diaz's shot. Love 15. Fermacell. Hits lobs also sometimes two-handed, if under pressure. Brilliant pickup, that's slightly unfortunate, did really well. Turned on a sixpence and just arrowed his return though, slightly wide into the side fence. 15-all. Goes for the drive again, and that was wilder skies. Brilliant play, Jose Carlos Gaspar. Just watch the volley again. Great technique. There was nothing the Argentine could do. Andon Matin, 15-30. 2 points. Just 2 points away from the title. New York Atlantics. Uses the back glass. No! Had no right to get that back into play, Fermacell. And again, great reflexes. And again, incredible play here. Oh, outstanding. Well, they get the applause despite losing the point. Some incredible pickups by Gaspar and Fermacell. They could easily have just said, okay, we've lost the point, we're leading comfortably, but a string of excellent shots. 30-all. And that's a big winner. Winding up. You could see him, exactly what his intentions were, and despite knowing what he was going to do and setting off really early Danny Diaz, it was impossible. Almost swallowed the camera in his attempt. 2 match points for New York Atlantics, and they take it at the first opportunity. The winners of the PPL II title, men's doubles, the New York Atlantics, Jose Carlos Gaspar, Jaime Fermacell. They've beaten the San Diego Stingrays, Danny Diaz and Ivor Andon Matin in straight sets in an excellent final played here at the Hammerstein Ballroom in the heart of Manhattan. Well, congratulations to all the teams taking part here in this PPL II. It's been thrilling, this 4-day event. Started on Thursday. We had group games on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Podium day on Sunday. And we have our 2 winners. Miami Padel Club claiming the women's doubles final. Brittany Dubbins and Marta Morga beating Toronto Polar Bears. And it's just finished the men's doubles final. San Diego Stingrays, who had won their 2 previous matches, both in super tie breaks, on this occasion failing to win a set, as New York Atlantics claim both to take the title. Well, shortly, stay with us, we'll have the trophy ceremony. And then, let me just check the time here, local. Well, we're not too far away from the PPL starting in just over an hour. When we say goodbye, you can join us for the PPL. Here are some of the highlights from the final. The favourites coming into this were clearly the New York Atlantics because they've been playing at such a high level, but the San Diego Stingrays were also unbeaten, so the 2 teams with a perfect record qualified for podium day here at the Hammerstein Ballroom after impressive performances at the Paddle House Greenpoint in Brooklyn. First set, they missed a set point at 5-2, then it was 5-3, 5-4, maybe a few nerves on the New York Atlantics team, but they came out and claimed with a good service game. Game number 10 to take it 6-4. In the second set, they started off so well, not really giving their opponents much of a chance. A tight first set, more one-sided second set, and deserved winners, the New York Atlantics. We're going to take a quick look at the stats from this final. 6-4 it finished in the opening set here. 6-1 the second set. And here the winners with their trophies. And the coach, Jose Carlos Gaspar, Jaime Fermosel, claiming the title for the New York Atlantics in straight sets. 6-4, 6-1. Now, don't go too far away. In about an hour, you can tune in to Podium Day of the PPL I. Toronto Polo Bears, Los Angeles beat Toronto Polo Bears, New York Atlantics. Women's and men's doubles. Then the championship games, not before 3 o'clock local time. San Diego Stingrays, Florida Goats, women's and the men's to end the day. DC Matrix, Houston Volts here in PPL II. Congratulations to Miami Padel Club, winners of the women's doubles, and just now a victory for the New York Atlantics. Do join Brian Finley and Herman Klaus if you want to listen to the commentary in English, or Pete Consuegra and Javier Carrasco if you want to follow Podium Day of the PPL in Spanish. It's been a real pleasure here. It's been fun, and hopefully you guys can play paddle, watch paddle, enjoy paddle, follow paddle, and then join us again for the rest of the events taking place this season. We've got some good events coming up, but stay with us. Shortly, Podium Day of the PPL.